Hello guys, Chris here and welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm going to be testing the GeForce RTX 3050 8GB model in GTA 5. And why GTA 5? I hear you ask. Well, it's a popular title and I really like it. And we gotta visit Jack, of course. You can see here in MSI Afterburner that I am not overclocking the card and we're running it with the 511.32 drivers. Over here in Tech Power Ups GPUZ, you can check out all of the GPU specs, including the 8GB of GDDR6, PCI Express 4.0 times 8, which is much better than times 4, AMD. And over on the left, we're running it with a Ryzen 9 5900X and 32GB of RAM, just to avoid any CPU or RAM bottlenecks. Let's get right into the game, shall we? And here we go. Let's go through the settings. We're playing at 1080p resolution, and we're also going to test this one at 1440p, 4K, and 8K resolution with a 3050. It's going to be great, guys. Or not, I'm not sure. Right now, I have MSAA disabled. We're going to test it out using 2x and 4x a little bit later as well, depending on the resolution. And everything is set to the maximum setting. So these are like ultra settings, aside from motion blur, of course. Actually, should we enable that? I don't really like depth of field, but hey, let's go. Over on the advanced graphics settings, everything is turned on or maxed out. This is just resolution scaling, so it's turned off. So we are at native 1080p, and let's do this. All right, here we go. These are not the same settings as we tested in the full review of the 3050, but the FPS that we're getting are actually quite close, even though we aren't even using any MSAA anti-aliasing. So it just goes to show you how demanding those advanced settings really are. And yeah, it's looking great. It's looking a little bit aliased as well, but that's because GTA 5 always looks like that. But hey, the FPS are extremely nice and playable. Again, we've already seen it before if you watched my full review. It gets pretty much the same FPS on ultra settings with no MSAA compared to like very high settings with 4x MSAA. Maybe in grassy areas it will be slightly less intensive though, using the ultra settings, because MSAA with every single leaf of grass is super intensive. Oh boy. Okay, we're fine. Very good driving right here, as always. Not really. And let's try not to hit anybody. Okay. Right. All good. All good. Let's go. Jack, I'm coming. Look at that, guys. We didn't hit anybody. The car is completely clean. Also, I will... Oh my gosh, sometimes the car actually explodes there, so I was really scared for a second, but I will probably drop down the settings to very high a little bit later in the video. Oh, it still drops into the 50s, so this is exactly what we've seen with 4x MSAA very high settings, guys. And it doesn't look that much better. Hello, Jacqueline, how's it going? Where is Jack? We gotta see that boy, of course. That's the whole reason why I'm making this video. Come on, we're good. Yes. All right, so inside of bushes, it's going to drop into the lower 50s. If you want to max out the game, you definitely can. Let's go over to the settings and try out... You know what? I'm not going to try out some MSAA here on Ultra because it already dropped from 60, but let's try it out at 2560 by 1440 res. Okay, here we go. 1440p resolution. Everything else is still untouched as we left it. Advanced graphics are still turned on and maxed out. And okay. Ooh, actually, we were getting 40s there for a second, but now it's much better. All right, let's start counting the frames and play around the city for a little bit. Once again, what happened to my sound? What the heck? Okay, so, ooh, that's a big drop. We were actually getting like around 80, 85 at 1080p, and now at 1440, we're getting 60s, 70s. Not too bad still, considering its ultra settings. On very high settings later into the video, it's probably gonna be very playable, and it's gonna look almost the same. Actually, maybe even better, because we will get rid of depth of field and motion blurs and all of that bad stuff. What the heck? Gosh damn Weasel News. What are you doing here? You can't stop in red lights. And you know what? Since this GPU performs almost the same as the 1660 Ti, I can say that it will actually play a lot of titles at 1440p. And with DLSS support, even newer titles could possibly be playable with the 3050 at 1440p. I played a ton of games with the 1660 Ti at 1440, and I actually tested most of the games in the 1660 Ti review like a year or two ago at 1440p because it was doing a really decent job at those settings and resolutions. Okay, so we hit one person. That's not bad at all. Let's keep on going, right? It's all fine. It's all good. That doesn't count because it was on the side. Right? Okay, dropping into the lower 40s here. That's even the high 30s. That's not very good. Where's Jack? Oh, there he is. Boy, get over here. I think the grass, it's probably because the grass is on ultra. It's a little bit higher than usual. But hey, how's it going, boy? No, don't go down there. I don't want to go down there. Phew, bastard. He's always running away from me. Sometimes I think he doesn't like me, guys. Ooh, look at that. 30-somethings. It's not bad by any means. It's ultra settings after all. The game is old, but we are using those advanced graphics settings, which I strongly recommend to disable. And those advanced graphics settings were actually a bit like from the future when this game came out. So the GPUs that were out at the time couldn't really run this game with advanced graphics settings enabled and like 60 plus all of the time. So this is decent. Oh, by the way, it's almost getting 69 FPS as well on average. So if we do get that, I will probably say that this is the perfect GTA 5 experience because it's a very nice frame rate, isn't it? Whoa, come on. Close. It is really close indeed, Michael. 69, there we go. Let's stop it there. 3840 by 2160, still using the ultra settings. This is probably not a very good idea, guys. Unless it is. We're getting 40s. We were getting 20s in the menu, though. All right, this is not too bad. Okay, oh, what the heck? What am I doing? Gosh, damn it, Michael. Move back. To a very demanding area right now in this way. Vinewood, that's almost as intensive, or it's pretty much the same thing actually as Jack's Hill, so it will probably drop a lot here into the 20s, I think. But playing on very high settings will improve our frame rates by a heck of a lot, so definitely do that. I'm just testing it here on ultra because I'm curious to see what it can do, and so far I mean, this is... Whoa, what the hell? Oh, boy. 20s. Oh, that's not good. Okay, yeah. This is pretty rough, guys. Yeah, in grassy areas, it's just a no-go. Oh, boy. I mean, it's still all right. Oh, there's Jack. What the heck are you doing there, boy? What are you doing here? Please talk to me. I miss you, Jack. I really want you to talk to me. I mean, why are you so quiet today? Maybe he's on a secret mission and he can't talk to us. All right. Okay. Go. Cross the road, Jack. Go on. Ah, there he is. He actually talked to us. So it's no secret mission. He just wants to ignore us at times. Kind of like my parents. Just kidding. So that's it for 4K. It's not very pleasant because it drops into the 20s. It's decent for screenshots, however, if you really want some beautiful looking screenshots on ultra settings. And needless to say that 8K won't really run that well. I've tested it with other 8GB cards and it gets like 1 FPS. It's horrible, so don't do that, alright? After a couple of fresh restarts to apply everything, we are at the very high settings, and only by disabling these settings and a couple of tweaks there in the normal graphics settings, we will see a massive boost in FPS. See why I say that these settings are so much better than the ultra settings. I would personally totally recommend very high settings instead of ultra. Like, this is just a buttery smooth experience right now. We went from 85 frames per second looking in that direction to around 144. Now, the problem with having such high FPS is that sometimes this game engine will actually break everything. Sorry. If you get closer to like 160 to 180 frames per second, you know, it will actually have a massive stutter and it won't be an enjoyable experience. I'm surprised that we haven't seen one yet. Probably because we are still like in the 150s, 140s at times. Right now, 170s. It will probably start stuttering a bit, and the fix for that is just locking the FPS to 144 or using some anti-aliasing, which will make the picture sharper, of course. And It will provide a smoother experience with lower FPS, of course, but it will be smoother. I mean, I'm still not sure why we haven't seen a stutter yet. I'm just completely clueless right now, guys. What the hell? Maybe you do actually need to reach 180 or 188 FPS, which is the engine limit, and the 3050 just isn't enough to do that. But if you saw my RTX 3080 Ti video, for example, there is a lot of stuttering there at 1080p because it's just too good of a card, I guess. Hi, Jack. How's it going? You're not too tanned today. Also, you can see that we lose a little bit of ambient occlusion and shadows in the grass, but I feel like I would take that trade-off. We're now well above 100 frames per second, even in grassy areas, whereas at ultra settings, we were dropping into the 50s and lower 50s at times without any anti-aliasing. Now, if I enable some anti-aliasing, let me just go to a very demanding bush. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, god damn it. Okay, you don't say that, Michael. That's rude. 105 FPS there. I'm stopping it right now. Average of 145. That's just insanely good. Now, I'm gonna enable some MSAA anti-aliasing 2 times. And it should drop our FPS immensely. Yes, 77, 78. Still doesn't drop from 60. So if you want to get rid of those jagged edges with a native 1080p panel, I think 2 times MSAA will basically get rid of many of them. Not all of them. I can still spot some jagged edges, but I am playing on a 27-inch 4K monitor, so maybe on a native panel it will look much better. Is that Jack? Yes. What? I thought he would never come back. Like, I've been here a few seconds ago. He didn't leave. Thank you so much, Jack. Now I know you love me. Oh, God. All right. I swear right there. But I'm sorry, YouTube. Okay, don't demonetize me. So now in the city, you can see that we're getting like 110s, 120s most of the time. You just need to enable 2 times MSAA. It will never drop from 60 anyways, even in grassy areas. And it will be a smooth experience still, and still kind of high refresh rate, you know, 110 frames per second on average is pretty damn good. Still 1080p, very high settings. Actually, I think this is what we tested in the Sunday video, not Sunday video, but the full review of the 3050. So you already know what to expect. It's around the same FPS as we got at 1080p Ultra with no MSAA, but now we got some sharper edges for sure, no aliasing almost. I can still spot a little bit of aliasing sometimes, but it is much clearer, the image, you know, and you do lose that ambient occlusion in grass and the bloom effect, which I don't really like, but I really think it's totally worth it. I'm trying to go to a more demanding grassy area once again to see if it drops. It probably will drop. Oh boy, okay, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do anyways. Let's keep on going. It is pretty similar to what we've seen, right? Inside of bushes, it might be a little bit better actually. But well, that's been it for 1080p at very high settings. This is gonna be a huge video, I'm sorry about that. This is 1440p, I forgot to show you probably. So 2560 by 1440 using very high settings still. Advanced settings are all turned off, and wow, I would much rather play like this than at 1080p ultra settings, guys, or even 1080p with MSAA anti-aliasing. Of course, if you have a 1080p monitor, just play at your native resolution, it's gonna look better. But if you do have a 1440p resolution monitor, you can definitely use a 3050 to play GTA 5 at pretty respectable settings. Yeah, it will look very nice and beautiful indeed. And again, these are bushy areas, grassy areas, and we're getting very good FPS still. Can I jump there? Wait a second. Wait a second. There we go. Awesome stuff. Also, if you're wondering, these grassy areas are actually more intensive than explosions and stuff in this game, which is kind of weird. It gets 110s in city areas, 90s and 80s in bushy areas and grassy areas. We still need to see Jack's Hill though, because that might be a little bit more intensive, but yeah, so far I am liking what I'm seeing at this res. It's perfect basically. Oh! Look at that, Bob has a friend now. What are you doing, Bob? Get the heck out of here. Alright, anyways, this is indeed a little bit more intensive than the previous area. So, interesting. And where's Jack? There he is. There he is. I saw him. He's so beautiful, isn't he, my friends? He's so beautiful. Anyways, that's it for 1440p. I'll just quickly enable some anti-aliasing at the like 2x MSAA value, so we can see how much it drops around here into the 50s. So it's super intensive, as I told you. Yeah, honestly, I was expecting slightly higher, maybe like 58 minimum. Of course, out of here in city areas, we will get 60 plus all of the time. It's still a perfectly playable experience, don't get me wrong. If you really want that sharpness, go for it. And now 3840 by 2160 4K resolution, still using the very high settings. And it should now be a very playable experience. Yes, okay, so it only drops into the 40s, not from 30 anymore, which is great. Let's see it inside of bushes and stuff. Still not too bad. Hey. Over here, 30s. Lower 30s. It does not drop from 30 though, so it's still a somewhat decent 4K resolution experience, I would say. It is definitely looking much sharper right now, although I'm not gonna render this video at 4K because my editing program has some issues rendering video at 4K. It just does some weird things when it's rendered, and I just don't want to take any chances. So 1440p it is for now. Gotta get a new editing program, that's for sure. But hey, yeah, it's pretty playable here at 4K resolution. Not too bad whatsoever. It's getting around the same FPS as a 1660 Ti once again, I believe, from what I remember testing that card. I mean, it's solid. It's a console-like experience, maybe even better than a console because the consoles are kept to 30 frames, at least the PS4 and PS4 Pro are. Also, you get no stuttering issues at 4K, very high whatsoever, because the VRAM is completely fine. It's only using 5.5 gigabytes right now. So if you really want to play GTA 5 at 4K with an RTX 3050, it is very possible to do so. 7680 by 4320 resolution, very high settings still, guys. And maybe we should drop it down, but I just want to see if we can get like 30 plus. Oh boy, this is very bad. It just stopped. Holy crap. Okay. I know exactly what's going on right now. I was just not really expecting it for some reason. I didn't remember. Yeah, we definitely need to drop the texture resolution because the game won't be playable with that on very high. It just consumes way too much VRAM. Let's drop that down to normal, which will make the game look kind of meh, you know. But hey, it's 8K. You shouldn't really play at this res anyways, just for science, I guess. Oh, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just, it still goes up to the VRAM limits, guys. Although the textures do look very horrible right now. Oh man, no. Alright, you know what? We will test it out using the normal settings, which is like the lowest settings in the game. It will probably be playable on normal. I don't see why not. We are not going over the VRAM limitations right now, as you can see. Let's just restart it and try again. This is better now. All right, 30s and 40s. Actually, more 30s than 40s, but it is now playable. Okay, 8K resolution, guys. Oh, God, it still drops into the 20s. Okay, this is bad. It looks way worse than 4K at very high settings, or even 1080p at very high settings, honestly, guys. You're gaining resolution here at 8K. But it sucks. You know, look at those shadows there at the side of the car. It looks pretty bad, right? Although it's still very playable, though, not gonna lie. These are the FPS that I used to play this game with, the GTX 760 and the FX 6350, back when I had that PC in like 2013 or 2014. And I still had a lot of fun playing this game at around 45 frames per second on average, so it's still enjoyable, but I mean, you got the option to play at very high using a lower resolution. Even at 4K, it will run fine, so don't do this. It's alright. Hi, Jack. How's it going? We can finally clearly see him because there is no grass around him. And the final test, these bushes over here. 24! Oh my god! That's insane how demanding bushes are in this game. Still, very nice results for 8K res, in my opinion. I'm just gonna go ahead and enable 2 times frame scaling, which is double the resolution in resolution scaling, which means that we're now playing at 16K. That text right there is the previous 8K resolution, and now it's 4 times that resolution, so it's 16K. I can't click yes. Come on. Don't revert. Yes, it didn't revert. Okay, so we're at 16K. Of course, this would not run well. I can't even get out of the menu, dude. Please. Normal settings at 16K resolution is obviously a no-go. Ah, man. It was actually playable with the 3080 Ti and 12 gigabytes of VRAM. You could, like, frame your screenshot, for example. Actually, no, just forget it. No, there's no use for this. Absolutely no use for this. Although it's super, super sharp at the distance and stuff. But hey, that's been it, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave it a like and maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'll get you in the next one very soon tomorrow. And as always, love you all. Bye-bye.